Hey, what's good? The Walker Bar in the house. Black Authentic Truth. Listen, man, there's been some things that have came out, few stories I want to get into, and just because of time, if I was to wait until Sunday when I usually do the live, I think that's too long. I want to definitely get in one of the stories now because it's a current event. It's something that I feel strongly about famous Amos passing away, and also Steve Harvey. And I got another video that I'm gonna get into. So this is going to be a quick live, but I'm gonna tap in and hit all of the major points. So I'm going to start off with this brother. I came across this video, and I'm sure people probably have seen this video before. And I'm not going to explain too much. I'm just going to play the video so that we can get into it. We can get it rocking.
Context, I drive trucks, and I stop at this Denny's to grab a coffee because I'm addicted to caffeine. I went in there to get my coffee to go, and then I walked to the bathroom, but as I'm walking to the bathroom, it's this old guy sitting to the left with about 12 people that's celebrating his 89th birthday. I got a call from my dispatcher, and he was like, yo, you can chill, no rush, they're not ready for the freight, so you can relax a little bit. Sat down, ordered some food, so now I'm sitting like across from the guy that's celebrating his birthday. Time goes by, I'm down there at the end of my meal, and everybody that basically came to celebrate with him had left, so now it's just him and his wife. So as I get up to go wash my hands, I see him and I give him a smile. I'm like, happy birthday, young man, 89. That's a lot of memory to have. Here's the thing, I don't even know why I said that. He could have had Alzheimer's. I'm not even sure what I meant by that. But that's what I said. And he said, well, thank you, young man. And he smiled and he kind of just stared at me, and I just walked back there and washed my fucking hands. So I come back and his wife is gone. She's talking to some other lady that goes to the same church they do. And he sees me, he says, come here, come here, come here. And I said, yes. And he said, there are way too many things that I wish I could forget. And I said, yeah, man, you make it to damn near 100 years old. I'm pretty sure you got a handful of regrets. And he looked at me with the most serious look ever and said, you have no idea. Well, now I'm curious. Do tell. He said, I used to be a firefighter through the 60s and 70s. I said, that's what's up. That's a very commendable job. And he said, yeah, it should be. He said the 60s and 70s was a different time in every way possible. You know that, right? And I'm just like, yeah, no shit. He said, back in those times, I was a way different man, and who knew that we'd get to the point where we are in society today, and I'd be feeling the way I'm feeling about the decisions that I made back in those times. So I'm like, man, if you won't fucking tell me, bro. So right before he took a very long pause, he looked at me and said, back in those times, it was very common for firefighters that looked like me to leave people that looked like you in burning houses and buildings and horrible situations just to say they couldn't get to us. He said more times than he'd like to admit, he would hear screaming black people and children in burning buildings and houses and apartments and stores and cars, and he would literally just pretend he didn't hear it. He said his last time doing it was when he made eye contact with the baby that he deliberately went into a building to save and deliberately didn't. And he said that was the last time he did it, and he quit that year. He said the nightmare still hasn't stopped. He still hasn't forgiven himself, and therapy helps, but it's still a living nightmare to have those memories. And I guess that shit just shocked me so much because when it came to firefighters, I never thought of them like that. Like when it came to like police officers, lawyers, and judges, and everybody else, we knew they didn't give a fuck. Especially police officers, we knew they didn't give a fuck about us. But I don't know why that didn't click to me that no, it was everybody that hated us. Everybody. Everybody had a hand in deliberately making our lives worse. But when I calmed down from being mad enough to want to pull the plug on his ass, I thought about it. And I was like, of course they did this. Of course they did this shit. Duh. Like, why was I even shocked? Like, of course. But it is something that I cannot think about for too long, because that visual of you fake going to save somebody and not saving them because of the color of their skin and the entire 911 understanding because, oh yeah, you couldn't get Jamal. Oh well, just another one gone. Like that shit. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. And so you heard what he said. He was talking to a firefighter who was up in age and said that he can't forget the things that he's seen or the things that he done, whereas they didn't go and help black people. They would hear the screams. He even looked at a baby and did not go and help the baby. And we, like this brother is trying to explain, that we are naive. Like, we know when it comes to law enforcement how they feel about us in certain agencies, but firefighters, most people look at firefighters like that is an honorable profession to have. They're saving lives and they're upright and they're for the community, but we don't realize that it's still a part of the same white supremacist fabric that America is built from. And we're so naive. Like this, we don't think about nurses. We don't think about EMTs, people that all play the role as far as you when you need help, when you're helpless, when there's an emergency. All the people that play a part in that role, I'm sure there's stories about nurses. Hell, stories come out about nurses, taking people out, giving lackluster care, treating people wrongly. Like, this is crazy, but this is the reality that we don't think about. Like I said again, we're naive to think that they're working these positions because they want to help people. You think about somebody being a nurse, you think about somebody being a firefighter, you're like, yeah, well, he grew up wanting to fight fires. She grew up wanting to take care of people because deep down inside, she always did that. She always took care of people. That's what we want to think naturally. We don't want to think that they are actually neglecting us and they are allowing us to die and they're allowing us to get caught in situations so that we can have an early demise. So they can just say, well, you know what? It's just another black person. It really doesn't matter. But that is the true reality of how these people think. And now he's saying this older gentleman, white man that was a firefighter, he can't get the memory, excuse me, he can't get the memories out of his head. He can't get it out of his head of how many black people he ignored. He heard their screams and he ignored it. He ignored it. Renee said, let me put this up. I see it all the time in the children's hospital and work. That's insane. And it's very sad. And this is why it goes back to loving your people, being separate, because at the end of the day, I speak about this all the time. Nobody is going to have the compassion on you like your own people, your own kind, your own race. Like, yeah, we are a messed up people. Let's just admit it. Black people are messed up. Yes, we're messed up. Yeah, we have a lot of issues, a lot of problems. But you will be at ease more with people that look like you. And we've all experienced our people going the extra mile to help us out in some shape, form, or fashion. I recently was just helped out by a black woman in my company. Now I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a promotion, and they're giving me the runaround with the interview process. And the sister, because she's in a higher position, she reached out to me because she know me from back in the days. And then she went to a higher up and got me the interview that I needed to get. And so that's because, well, like, she won't say it. I didn't say it to her, but she's looking out for me because we are alike and we think alike and we look the same and we're the same race. It's an unspoken thing. On the flip side, we do have it where we think that because a person is black, that they're going to treat us a certain way. And you find out real quick, especially when it comes to law enforcement officers, that is not the case. They're going to treat you worse. But in some capacity, in the workforce, you do run across brothers and sisters that take a liking to you just based on the fact that you both black, and there's not many of you in there, you know. But this is a reality check. This is a reality check. Like, I'm sure if it was happening then in the 70s, it's still happening today. We know it's happening in other capacity as far as attorneys and judges in law enforcement. But firefighters, like the brother said, you would think of firefighters, they on the up and up. You wouldn't think that they are leaving people in burning homes, black people, and ignoring their screams. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to bring that out because that is something we have not, we are naive to our fault sometimes, to think that everybody is in these professions because they are just truly good people that want to do the job the way it is supposed to be done. And that is not the case. Like, race plays a part in everything, even when you have an emergency, even when your life is on the line. So at the end of the day, you have to it's all up to the Lord whether or not you're going to survive or not. Whether you're in the operating room, they say black women are 4 times more likely to die during pregnancy than white women. You know what I mean? So there's so many statistics that show that, it's really up to the favor of the Lord whether or not you're going to make it or not when you're in the hands of some of these people. Right? So let me drop that. Now I'm go to this next video with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey never, he keeps coming with, he keeps out cooning himself. Steve Harvey. Remove this.
Let me go off this paper for a minute. Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show they know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote.
You hear that crap? Now, Black people have not learned that every 4 years it's a game that's being ran on them and played. And they get people like Steve Harvey, and back in my day, it was Puff Diddy. They get celebrities, they get entertainers, they get comedians to say you need to go vote. And he said something real horrible. He said, if you don't vote, how do you expect to get anything? You can't just say what they're going to do for Black people. My question is, what have they done for Black people? He said, you can't just ask what you're going to do for Black people. You got to play the game they want you to play. And if you don't vote, how you think you're going to get reparations? That is a real evil thing. That's a real evil thing for him to say. Whereas reparations is something that's predicated or predates Black people voting. Reparations predate integration. Black people coming together and believing that, you know, maybe this thing can work if we integrate. Maybe it will work for us. Maybe they do see us as equals. Reparations is in a very brief history. Reparations was supposed to be 40 acres and a mule. And the people that negotiated with the United States government or the military for reparations did not even want to be around white people anymore. They just wanted to get their own land and be self-sufficient. Now, reparations is something that in a righteous world, yes, Black people will get it. But to say that Black people, if you don't vote, how can you think you can come and ask people for anything if you don't show up at the voting polls? That's damn near clownish. That's one of the worst things you can tell Black people. Black people got things done in the past, not just by trying to vote, but by actually coming together and boycotting and and refraining from spending their money. That got people's attention. Black people coming together and acknowledging the wrongs that was done to them and being on the same page could do more than they could do by going to the voting polls. And Steve Harvey is just another ploy and a coon that they throw up there to push this type of rhetoric to Black people. And he just basically, he shitted on the whole idea of getting reparations because he compared it to asking for something by voting, but you're asking for something that you shouldn't have to vote for. It should be given to you with no questions asked because of the atrocities that happened to your ancestors. Point blank, period. Right? Right. They give a lot of our people who don't deserve the platform to get up and speak for Black America. Malcolm X said a long time ago that you can't take these political leaders and these celebrities serious. You can't take these people serious. And I used to say a lot that a lot of our people look at the celebrities as the example on how to live by the choices that they make. But I would tell you, do not ever make a celebrity your example or your inspiration, because celebrities are people just like you. They're just people that have fame. They're people that have fame and a little money, and they're in the public eye. But you realize after looking at a lot of celebrities for a while, if you've been on this earth for a while, you realize that a lot of them are worse than regular people. They are more dysfunctional than regular people. They can't keep their family together. They have all the problems and more than your average poor Black people, you know? But yeah, I just thought that I wanted to talk about this because I seen it and it just inflamed me because it's always one of us to talk down on one of us and they put our people in front of us into shuck and jive and bojangle and jiggle just to go against the grassroots of Black people, the grassroots thoughts that Black people have, the stance that Black people have. They'll get the celebrities because people worship people with money. People look at a Steve Harvey and they worship him. You know, he got some books. He's on the price. What is it? I can't even remember the show. One of them shows, Jeopardy. But they look at him and put him up there to be the spokesperson for Black people. When I'm sure you go into his personal life, it's in shambles. Matter of fact, I believe it was just it wasn't a story recently, but you know, it was all kind of drama in the airwaves about Steve Harvey in his relationship. But this is who they set up to tell us that we shouldn't ask for reparations. We shouldn't ask for what's in a righteous world we would get off top, which is for you to be retributed for what somebody has done to you. The same way how you got to pay restitution when you do a crime, America needs to pay restitution for the crimes that their ancestors did to Black people's ancestors. But for him to get up there and say that and be a spokesperson for Kamala Harris, and Black people have a valid point. What are you going to do for Black people? I say it all the time with voting. Why are you voting if you can't get anything tangible, something real specific to Black people at any given time? They'll give other races specific things, but Black people just get hope. Black people get the imaginary hope from voting for a candidate. That's all Black people get out of voting is hope. Hope for a better day. That's all we get. Right. So now I want to move on. I wasn't going to go that long, y'all, but Famous Amos passed away. Well, the news came out that Famous Amos passed away today. Anybody know who Famous Amos is? You know, he created Famous Amos Cookies, a brother, a Black man. And let me screen share. Screen share. So the news came out that Famous Amos passed away today. Famous Amos, he created the cookies that we know and love. I mean, I love those cookies, and I never knew growing up that a Black man had created these cookies. And Famous Amos basically, he had a lot of jobs, right? As he was growing and he was, a young adult, he was a talent agent. He had various skills. And then one day he got into baking cookies. He always baked cookies from a child. His aunt showed him how to bake cookies. And one day he decided that he would make cookies. He was making cookies for people, and they said how good they were. And so in order to start his business, he got some loan money from the likes of Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, and some other people. And he started Famous Amos Cookies, right? And it became a major brand and a major hit. And the store was in Los Angeles. And so if he got into some hard times where he had to actually sell the rights to another company, where he could not use his likeness anymore, but he continued to make cookie companies. And he just kept pushing and pushing until the end. So he was 88 years old, and the news came out today that he passed away. So may Famous Amos rise again. That's a great brother. And I'm going to I have it in the link of the description of this video. the video that I had previously done years ago about Famous Amos. So you can check that out to get some particulars on Famous Amos's life. But Famous Amos, for some reason, it just struck a chord with me, because I always felt like it always happens that way. Whether, I don't know if it's taxes, unrighteous laws, but Black people that do very well for themselves through hard work and perseverance end up losing everything that they built. Even with property, when it comes with property taxes and all that, when people have property and you think about all the property Black people had and they no longer could hold on to it, or the inventions Black people had and they no longer can hold on to it, and then they die without that fortune, where they should have died with a fortune. In this case, it's the same as Wally Amos, Famous Amos. And I just think it's sad, but this story really struck a chord with me, because I grew up eating the cookies. Hell, I think I lost a few teeth because of Famous Amos cookies and Snicker bars, growing up. So my son basically, I remember this is like the 5th or 6th grade. He did a Black History report on Famous Amos, and it had the teacher like, damn, like, I never heard of him. Like, how did you come up with this? Well, he had used the video that I put in this description as his research to write a book report about Famous Amos. And the teacher was like, that was an excellent book report, because I didn't know that the cookies were made by a Black man. Many people don't know that because his likeness is not on the cookies. I seen recently where I seen a box where they put his face on one of the boxes of Famous Amos cookies, like a big box you would get from Costco, but I don't know about the individual packages, right? But a lot of people don't know that this cookie, which I personally chose over Chips Ahoy cookie, because I got a sweet tooth. I ain't gonna lie, I have a sweet tooth growing up, and I chose that over Chips Ahoy cookies, which probably was way more famous. And what's those other ones? They was like Soft Batch. Yeah, none of the cookies that was on the shelves could compare to Famous Amos cookies. And the fact that they were a dry cookie, they wasn't like a soft cookie, but they was bomb. They was really good. And, I'm sure many of y'all can agree. Oh, you say you didn't know that? Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't know that for my whole life growing up, eating those cookies. Didn't know a Black man had created it, because they were really random. Sometimes they'll be in the stores, sometimes they wouldn't be in the stores. So they wasn't one of those super name brands, but they was a brand, right? But yeah, so Famous Amos passed away. Amazing brother. You see the story, you'll see how positive he was. Even during the time when he came up through, he had a lot of positivity. He was one of those people that was always had a lot of energy and a lot of positivity. So he is going to be missed. He is definitely in the pantheon of Black pioneers that have done great things while being here in the land of our captivity. So yeah, shout out to Famous Amos. Shout out to you. May you rise again. So with that, one second, let me get back here. So with that, I'm gonna end this live right now. This is supposed to be a short live. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all like what I talked about, the points I made. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Some of y'all been in here the whole time. I'm gonna give y'all a shout out. That Gamer Honesty 06 always rocking with me. Kamamaz Boff always rocking with me. Renee Gaines always rocking with me. Carl's Edits, thank you for being here. Shout out to you. Vincent Brown Scott, shout out to you too, brother. So yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. I'll see y'all on Black Authentic Truth. I'll be going live Sunday. I'll be going live at 3 p.m. on Sunday. And with that, you already know what it is. This is Black Authentic Truth.